She told me, "If you're not going to babysit 4 kids, then don't even come." I had no idea one of those kids was mine, and that her secret would change everything I thought I knew about my family. I hadn't been back here in 7 years. 7 long years of empty streets, faded memories, and the echo of a door slamming shut behind me. The town hadn't changed much. The sidewalks were cracked in the same places, the old oak tree in the park still leaned slightly to the left, and the air smelled faintly of wet grass and baked bread from the corner bakery. But it all felt smaller now, more fragile, and painfully familiar at the same time. I parked a few houses down from hers, letting the engine run softly while I tried to calm the sudden rush of nerves. My hands gripped the steering wheel tighter than necessary, my knuckles turning white. I had rehearsed this moment countless times in my mind, every word, every reaction, but the truth was, nothing could have prepared me for actually standing here, so close yet so far from her. Her house was the same too. The pale yellow paint had chipped in places, and the wooden porch creaked under the weight of time. But the curtains in the window were bright and cheerful, the kind that tried to hide imperfections. The sound of children's laughter floated through the air, light and carefree, completely unaware of the storm I felt brewing inside. For little voices called each other's names, squealing and shouting with the pure energy of life. I stepped out of the car, letting my feet crunch softly on the gravel. Each step felt heavier than the last, weighed down by old resentment, by memories I'd tried to bury. I paused at the bottom of the porch steps, taking a deep breath and trying to steady the emotions swirling inside me. Anger, sadness, longing. Every emotion I had packed away over the years suddenly hit me like a tidal wave. The door opened before I could even knock. And there she was. My sister. She looked older, more mature, yet still carried the same sharpness in her eyes that I remembered. The kind that could cut through the toughest armor, the kind that had once left me raw and exposed. Her hair fell loosely over her shoulders, slightly streaked with grey at the roots, though her smile, or rather, the lack of it, hadn't changed. She glanced at me, and I swear I saw the flicker of recognition, the tiny spark of something buried under years of avoidance. But it vanished as quickly as it came. "If you're not going to babysit 4 kids, then don't even come," she said, her voice flat, controlled, almost rehearsed. There was no warmth, no welcome, just a barrier, invisible but unyielding. I froze for a moment. My chest tightened. Those words, the same sharp edge I remembered from so many arguments, from so many years of misunderstanding, hit me like a punch. I opened my mouth, wanting to respond, to explain why I had come, but nothing came out. I realized I had been holding my breath, waiting for some flicker of warmth in her eyes, some sign that the bond we once shared wasn't completely gone. But there was nothing. Only the harsh edge of reality. The children ran past her, laughing and shouting. One tripped and fell, and she barely looked over her shoulder before gently but firmly telling him to get up. She was a mother now, a busy mother, and her life had moved on. Meanwhile, I had been standing still in time, replaying the past, nursing old wounds that were still tender to the touch. I finally found my voice, low and cautious. I just wanted to see you," I said, not too loudly, not too soft. I didn't want to provoke her, didn't want to start a fight. But even in those words, the years of pain, the distance, the longing, crept through. Her eyes narrowed slightly, almost imperceptibly, and she let out a small sigh. "Seeing me doesn't seem to be enough for you. You always needed more." I felt a pang in my chest. She didn't realize it, but her words dug deeper than any fight ever could. They reminded me of how I had always been considered the one who needed guidance, the one who always fell short in her eyes, the one left behind while she moved forward. I looked past her into the yard. The kids were playing tag, their feet kicking up dust, hair flying in the sunlight. They didn't notice me. They didn't care about the past. And yet, seeing them, I couldn't help but wonder, which of these little ones carried a piece of the family I had been shut out from? Was any of them mine? The thought hit me harder than I expected, leaving a hollow ache in my chest. She stepped aside, gesturing for me to come in, but her face remained guarded. I hesitated, unsure if I wanted to cross that threshold. Not because of the house, but because of the memories it held. The laughter I had once shared with her, now replaced by echoes and absence. Inside, the house smelled faintly of cinnamon and vanilla, clean yet lived in. The walls were decorated with photographs, birthdays, school events, holidays. I saw her smile in one of the pictures, holding a baby in her arms. My stomach tightened. Was this the life I had missed? Had I been kept away from it on purpose? She led me to the living room, a quiet corner away from the chaos of the children. I sat on the edge of the couch, my mind spinning with thoughts I couldn't put into words. The tension between us was tangible, an invisible thread stretched tight over years of misunderstanding, hurt, and resentment. I didn't expect to see you, she said finally, her voice softer this time, almost human. But there was still caution in it. A wall she wasn't willing to bring down just yet. I didn't expect to come back like this, I admitted, my voice trembling slightly. But I needed answers. I needed to understand why you left, why you shut me out, why everything ended the way it did. Her gaze dropped to the floor. She didn't answer immediately, and the silence between us was heavy, filled with everything we hadn't said for 7 long years. The clock ticked on the wall, the children's laughter faded into the background, and for the first time, I saw her not just as my sister, but as someone who had made choices, someone who had her own fears, her own reasons, even if they were cruel to me. Finally, she looked up, her eyes meeting mine. For a brief moment, I saw the woman I had once trusted, the one I had loved, the one who had hurt me so deeply. And I realized something. Coming here wasn't just about confrontation. It was about understanding, about reclaiming the part of my life I had been denied. The air felt heavy, thick with memories, with questions that demanded answers. And in that silence, I made a quiet promise to myself. I didn't just want answers. I wanted the truth. And if it hurt, if it tore the wall she had built around herself and around me, so be it. Outside, the sun was setting, casting a warm orange glow through the windows, painting the room with shadows and light. It was beautiful, bittersweet. And I knew, whatever came next, whatever revelations awaited me, this was only the beginning. I took a deep breath, steeling myself. I'm here, I said quietly. Not to fight, but to find out what really happened, and maybe what I lost. She didn't answer. She just nodded, eyes still cautious, lips pressed into a thin line. The tension remained, thick and unyielding. But for the first time in years, we were in the same room, facing the same truth. And that was the first step, fragile, uncertain, but real. I didn't know yet that this visit would change everything. That the past was not as buried as I had hoped. That the secret she had kept, and the choices she had made, would come back to me in a way I could never have imagined. But for now, we sat together, for children's laughter echoing from the yard, the weight of 7 years pressing on both of us, and a fragile hope hanging in the air. And I knew one thing for certain. This time, I wouldn't leave without the truth. We sat on the porch, the sun dipping lower, painting the sky with streaks of orange and pink. The children had run off to chase a stray ball into the yard, their laughter echoing in bursts, but the quiet between us felt heavier than ever. I could feel it pressing down, thick and almost suffocating. She sipped her tea slowly, her hands wrapped around the cup like it could protect her from me, from the past, from the questions I had. I still don't understand, I began carefully, my voice low, steady. 7 years ago, you just disappeared. No warning, no explanation. I tried to call, to write, nothing. I never even got a goodbye. Her eyes flickered, just for a moment. That small twitch told me more than any words could. Guilt, maybe fear, or maybe she was bracing herself to tell a truth she had kept hidden for too long. I had my reasons, she said quietly, her gaze dropping to the floorboards. You wouldn't have understood back then. Maybe not even now. I leaned back slightly, letting the chair creak under my weight, the tension pulling tight across my shoulders. I could see the lines on her face now, the ones that weren't there before. Life had left its marks on her, just like it had on me, just like it had left marks on all of us in ways no one could erase. I want to understand, I said softly. I need to. We used to trust each other, at least a little. I need to know why everything ended the way it did. She swallowed hard, glancing briefly at the children playing in the yard. Her eyes softened, just slightly, as she watched them. That's when I noticed it, the way she held herself, the way she moved, the way her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. Something was off. There was a hesitation in her movements, a pause in her voice that told me she wasn't ready to tell me everything. But whatever it was, I knew it involved more than just our falling out. I remember that day, I said, my voice barely above a whisper, the day you told me that I wasn't ready for everything. You said I needed to grow up first, that I didn't understand responsibility. Her lips pressed into a thin line, and she looked away. You weren't ready, she repeated softly, almost to herself. I had to protect you. Protect you from making mistakes you couldn't come back from. I felt a chill run down my spine. Protect me? From what? I wanted to ask, but I could see the hesitation in her eyes, the fear of opening a door that might change everything. 7 years, I said quietly. 7 years of wondering, of trying to figure out what I did wrong, and you never said a word. You left me to hurt alone. Her fingers trembled slightly around the cup. She finally looked at me, and for the first time, her eyes glistened with something I hadn't seen in years: vulnerability. I thought it was for the best. I thought if you knew everything, you wouldn't forgive me. Or you might hate me forever. I sat back, my heart tightening. She was hiding something. I could feel it deep in my bones. Something that wasn't just about our past fight. Her hesitation, the careful way she chose her words, the way she kept glancing at the children. It all hinted at a secret she had carried alone, and now it was dangling between us like a heavy cloud. I tried to focus on her words, but my mind kept drifting to the past, to memories I had tried to bury. I remembered the nights I stayed awake, wondering if she was okay, wondering if she had forgotten me completely. I remembered the arguments, the shouting, the words that cut deep, and how she had walked away, leaving me to face everything alone. You were my sister, I whispered, my voice breaking slightly. And now, I don't even know who you are anymore. You vanished, and the only thing you left behind was silence. She flinched at my words, like a physical blow. Her hands tightened around the cup, knuckles white. I know, she said softly, almost too softly. And I regret it. Every single day. But you have to understand, some truths are dangerous. Some truths change everything. I leaned forward, my eyes locking onto hers. Then tell me, I said firmly. I can handle it. I need to know. I deserve to know. She hesitated again, and in that pause, my mind wandered to the children. The way they ran and laughed, the way they looked so happy and innocent, and the way she watched them. Her gaze lingered on one child longer than the others, her expression softening in a way she hadn't done for me. That was the moment the pieces started to shift in my mind. Something about her behavior, her protectiveness, her fear. It all started to make sense, even if I couldn't fully grasp it yet. She began slowly, her voice trembling slightly. I wasn't just protecting you from being hurt. I was protecting someone else. Something you would have never understood back then. My heart skipped a beat. My instinct screamed that this was it, the secret she had been hiding for 7 years. The thing she thought I could never handle. Who? I asked, my voice steady, though my stomach churned with anticipation. She looked at me, her eyes searching mine for something. Forgiveness? Understanding? Or maybe just the courage to finally admit the truth. But she couldn't say it yet. She shook her head slightly, letting out a small, bitter laugh. I can't. Not yet. You're not ready. Not fully. I needed to know if you could see beyond your own anger, your own hurt. I felt a surge of anger mixed with confusion. See beyond my anger. I echoed. I've spent 7 years trying to make sense of your absence, of the silence you left me with. I've grown, I've suffered, I've waited. And now you tell me I'm not ready. Her eyes softened again, and I caught a flicker of fear, the fear of my reaction, of what would happen if the truth came out. She was hiding something. I could feel it like a pulse in the air, something that had shaped the last 7 years of our lives. The sun had dipped lower now, shadows stretching across the porch, the air cooling as evening settled in. The children's laughter had faded into a quieter murmur as they settled into the house, leaving us alone on the porch with our thoughts, our regrets, and the unspoken words that had built a wall between us. I needed to know, she whispered finally, breaking the silence. I needed to know if you would still care, if you could still be responsible. I stared at her, my mind racing. Responsible for what? For who? The tension between us was unbearable, thick and heavy, and I realized with a sinking feeling that whatever she was hiding had everything to do with the life she had built, with the children, with the years she had kept me away. I clenched my fists, trying to keep my composure. Tell me, I said again, firmer this time. I'm not leaving without the truth. I deserve it. I need it. You can't hide it anymore." She looked at me, really looked at me, and for the first time, I saw fear. Real fear. The fear of losing control, of seeing everything unravel. And in that moment, I understood. Whatever she had kept from me, it was powerful. It was personal. It was the reason our lives had been torn apart. Her voice was barely audible as she said, "It's not just about us anymore. It's about him." My heart stopped. Him? Who? She looked away, and I saw the small tremble in her hands. I knew then that the secret she had guarded so fiercely, the reason she had shut me out, was something that would change everything. And in that moment, I understood that the past 7 years had been leading to this, the moment the truth would finally be revealed. The emotional tension was unbearable, but I didn't move. I didn't speak. I waited, because I knew, deep down, that the revelation she had been hiding would either destroy us, or give me the clarity I had been searching for all these years. And I was ready. Her words hung in the air like a storm cloud, heavy and suffocating. "It's not just about us anymore. It's about him." I froze, my mind trying to catch up with what I had just heard. Him? Who? My heart pounded in my chest, a wild rhythm of fear, anger, and an almost desperate hope. Who? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper, though it felt like I had shouted it into the silence. She looked at me then, really looked at me, eyes wide, lips trembling, hands clutching the edge of the porch rail as though it were the only thing holding her together. He's yours," she said finally, her voice quivering. The world stopped. My mind screamed, my heart lurched, and my stomach twisted into knots. "Mine." I repeated, disbelief breaking through the calm I had tried to maintain all evening. "How? What do you mean?" She took a shaky breath, glancing toward the yard where the children had begun settling into the house. My eyes followed hers, and then I saw him, a small boy, no older than 6, sitting on the steps, playing with a toy car. The sunlight caught in his hair, golden and wild, his eyes focused but curious, bright and alive. And in that instant, a shocking realization hit me. The same eyes, the same shape of his mouth, the same tiny crease in his brow. He was mine. I didn't move, didn't speak. The emotions collided inside me. Shock, disbelief, joy, and rage all at once. All these years, all the pain, all the longing, and this had been here, hidden in plain sight. She stepped closer, her voice almost a whisper. "I tried to tell you before. I wanted to, but I couldn't. I was scared you'd take him away, or that you'd hate me for keeping him from you all this time." I swallowed hard, trying to force the words into some order, some meaning. You let me live 7 years without knowing? You let me hurt, wonder, and wait, and all the while he was here. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears. "I thought you wouldn't understand. I thought you'd never forgive me. I thought I was protecting him. And maybe I was protecting you too, in my own stupid, selfish way." I felt a tremor in my hands, a surge of emotions I couldn't control. Part of me wanted to scream, to shake her, to demand every lost day back. Another part of me wanted to scoop that little boy into my arms and never let go. The truth hit me like a blow and then a balm at the same time. I had been robbed of moments I could have shared with him, of laughter, bedtime stories, scraped knees healed with kisses, the quiet secret smiles only a father and son share. And yet, here he was. He existed, alive and real, in a world that had kept him from me. I finally found my voice, low, controlled but firm. "So that's why you said I had to babysit. You were testing me." Her eyes widened, a small gasp escaping her lips. I had to know you'd care. That you'd see past your anger. That you'd be ready for him. I leaned back, the tension in my chest tightening, my mind a whirlwind of thoughts. 7 years of waiting, of wondering, of growing without a piece of my own life. And now, finally, I had the truth. "Do you know what it felt like?" I said slowly, each word measured. "To be shut out of my own family, to be left in the dark while life moved on? To wonder if I'd ever get a chance to be part of something real?" Her lips trembled, and tears finally rolled down her cheeks. I know it was cruel. I know I hurt you. Every day, I've regretted it." I looked at him again, my son, and the rage inside me twisted into a cold, controlled clarity. The years of pain, of being excluded, of her lies, they had given me something she didn't expect. Knowledge, power, and a chance for quiet revenge. You underestimated me, I said softly, almost to myself. You thought keeping him from me would protect him. Or you. But all you did was create a gap that I've been ready to fill. Her sobs choked in her throat as she shook her head. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was saving him from what I couldn't explain before. I stood, the porch creaking under my weight, and walked slowly toward the yard. The boy looked up, curious but not afraid. I knelt down, letting my eyes meet his. His small hand reached out instinctively, and I took it gently, feeling the shock and joy ripple through me. Hey, buddy, I said softly, my voice breaking just slightly. I'm your dad. His eyes widened, innocence shining in them, and he didn't pull away. There was no fear, no hesitation, just recognition, somehow innate, deep in the marrow of being. And in that moment, I felt the weight of the past lift slightly, replaced by something stronger, something undeniable. I looked back at my sister, my voice calm but firm. I'll take him, and I'll teach him the truth. He deserves to know who he really is. And you can't control this anymore. Her face went pale. I saw the fear and regret, the sudden realization that the quiet power she thought she held had shifted. For 7 years, she had controlled the narrative, manipulated the story, kept secrets she thought would protect us. But now, I held the future, and the truth, firmly in my hands. She stepped back, trembling, unable to meet my gaze. You can't just. I can, I interrupted, my tone steady, unwavering. Because he is mine, and he deserves honesty, love, and a father who won't let secrets and lies dictate his life. The boy tugged gently at my hand, pulling me toward the swing set. I followed, letting him guide me, letting the years of absence fade into the background. I could see my sister watching us, helpless, her carefully built walls crumbling as the truth reshaped everything she thought she controlled. The sky darkened, stars beginning to peek out one by one. The air cooled, but I didn't notice. My heart was full, sharp, and aching, but alive. I realized then that my revenge wasn't in anger, wasn't in yelling or punishment. It was in the quiet reclaiming of what had been taken from me. The knowledge, the bond, the connection that she had tried to deny me. You underestimated me, I said again, this time not to her, but to the universe, to the years of pain, to the silence. I waited. I learned. I grew. And now, I have what you tried to hide. She didn't speak. Her lips parted, then closed. No words could undo what had been done. She had built walls, spun lies, hidden a child, and in doing so, had unknowingly handed me the ultimate power, the truth. I looked at my son, swinging gently, his small legs pumping slowly as the wind brushed against his hair. I smiled, a mixture of love, sorrow, and quiet triumph. For the first time in years, I felt whole again. And I knew, with absolute certainty, that the past could no longer hurt me. The future was mine to shape. I glanced back at my sister one last time. She had tears streaking her cheeks, her hands shaking. The fear in her eyes was unmistakable, not of me, but of what she had lost control over. I didn't need to say anything more. She knew. I looked at my son again, and whispered softly, "We'll be okay. I've got you." And as the stars shone above, the night silent except for the distant hum of the town, I realized the truth, the secret she had hidden, the years of pain, and the lies, they had all led to this moment. My son was mine, my bond with him unbroken by time or deception. And the quiet revenge I had sought, not through anger, but through love and truth, had been achieved. The final line lingered in the air, unspoken but powerful. The secret she kept for 7 years became the bridge to the life she thought she could control, and I was finally free to claim what was mine.